All right. So crawl back to my mat here. You guys can get set up on your mat. And we're getting ready for the intermediate level Pilates mat workout today. So here we go. Start sitting. And let's do a little bit of stretching today to begin. So you can curl your tail up and roll your spine down into the mat surface, all the way down, letting the head rest, and then pull your right knee into your chest as the left leg extends forward. Pull that leg in tight and reach long out through your right sits bone. And then we'll just do some little stirs here, circling the leg on the hip socket, trying to hold the body steady on the ground, and then reverse the circles. Just oiling up that hip socket, getting a little mobility here into the joint, and some stretch into the muscles around it. One more circle here. You pull the leg in tight, then we're going to bring the knee slightly to the outside of the right rib cage and up and in towards the right armpit. Take your left hand on your left hip bone and press that down. And you can pull the knee open a little bit, but also pull it up and in. See if you can find a stretch that feels good through your upper inner thigh. And then lower the knee down away from your face so that the thigh is more perpendicular to the body. And let that knee sink towards the ground. Then we'll pick the right knee up. Keep the hip down as much as you can and pull the knee on the slight diagonal up and in towards your left armpit. Here you'll feel the stretch in the upper outer thigh and maybe a little bit into the lower part of the glute. And now pick up the knee so it's vertical and then pull it across the body, lifting your hip and extending the right arm out along the floor. Turn your head to look out at the fingertips. Here again, the thigh is perpendicular to your torso. You anchor down through the right shoulder blade and you feel the diagonal stretch in the belly and the back, and maybe also a little stretch into your glute, into that sacral area. And then we can exhale to pull the hip down and then pull the knee into your right chest once more. Stretch the right leg forward at this point, shake out both legs, and then relax them down and feel the difference in weight and connection of the right side, not just the leg, but also the back compared to the left side into your mat. It almost feels like I've dropped about half an inch to an inch on the right side of my body, and probably you're feeling the same thing. So now let's pull the left knee in, hug it in tight. And we start with those little circles, stirring the leg. You could have your right hand still on the hip as you draw circles with the knee, and then reverse the circles. They're kind of small. You don't want to go crazy. You just want to feel that you're getting a chance to loosen up that hip and the muscles around it. And then we'll pull the left knee into your chest. And then bring it out to the side and up and in towards the left armpit. Shoulders are relaxed, elbows are reaching forward and down towards the far end of your mat. And then we can lower the knee away from your shoulder, maybe rest the foot on the ground or cross it on top of the other leg, whatever you need, and you push the leg down while holding the opposite hip and thigh heavy. So you're not tipping the body to push the knee all the way down, but you're getting the stretch of the inner thigh. Then let's exhale. You can support the leg with your left hand as you bring it up and across. Let's take it first directly over, let's bring it up to the armpit first, reaching out through the sits bone. And notice it can feel really different on the two sides of your body. Where you get the stretch on one side might not even matter to you on the other side, or vice versa. And then let the knee go lower. Bring the thigh more perpendicular to your torso. Extend the left arm. Look at that hand. Get a nice stretch there. And really open up with the diagonal across, really from the tricep, from the armpit, diagonally across to the opposite hip. Most of us will feel it in the pec area, especially, and maybe across the upper arm. And then pull the hip down, pulling the knee up and in. Pull that knee in tight. And then release that leg next to the other one. Give it a little shake. Maybe lift your head. Be sure you're in a straight line. Nose points down. Your sternum to the navel. And down to the space between your heels. Okay. And then let's pull the right leg in. And we'll roll forward and up. To come up to sitting. To roll back into our hundreds. So hands to the thighs. Lift the feet off the ground. Suspend here from the feet suspended from the knees. Curl the tail up and around the low back. And then we'll go down into your upright curl, bringing the legs to tabletop. And then let's stretch the arms at your side, extend the legs up and start pumping the arms. Inhaling for 5 beats and exhale for 5 more. Squeeze the legs together. You want to reach them up and out on a diagonal that gives you some work but doesn't get into your back. So try to think of your waistline pressing into the ground and maybe the tail coming up a little bit towards your heels. Your head is lifted. You're trying to pull forward with the chest and down with the eyes, down with the chest. So that your back imprints into the mat. The arms lengthen here, forward and out, letting them quickly up and down the wall in front of you. The reach forward of the arms pulls the shoulders away from your ears. You also can think about the collarbones widening so that the shoulders fall behind you and drape away from your head. Let's go for one more breath here. And then fold your knees into your chest. Lay on back. And let's rock forward and up. We're going to do a roll back here with the TheraBand today. So we can add some oblique work into this. So coming upright, you can take your band, you can take a yoga strap, you can take a belt, you can take a dog leash, whatever you have. Or if you don't have anything, you can just hold on to the legs and let your hands slide down your legs. So sit upright, chest is wide, elbows pull back towards your side, feet are flexed and the heels into the mat. And then begin looking down and curving the tail up to round the low back. Slowly imprint your spine down. Your hands might slide along your strap, whatever it is, to bring your body down to the upright curl and then release across the shoulders, widening the chest, go all the way down with the head. Now lift to come up. So float the head up, lift the neck, pull the elbows wide, and then pull the hands towards you. So you round your back and you lift each vertebra one at a time. Let's take a dive over. Bring your head down by your knees. Stretch out your back and then articulate from the bottom of the spine to the top, rising here, and your gaze floats out on the horizon. And then look again down and curl the tail up towards your gaze. You slide past the sits bones over the sacrum, imprint your waistline down. The feet are strong and steady. They're your anchors. You pull back away from it. Lengthen your spine along the middle of your mat and then tip your head forward, float it up. Start lifting and bending the neck. Then move through the upper ribs. Now, if you pull your elbows wide and forward, your scapula will bend away from the spine. And that gives you a chance to really pleat the front ribs together as you open the back. We're diving over, stretching. And then flow up, low back, mid back, upper back, shoulders, neck, and head. And do one more of these. This is called a roll back. And it's great to do them even when you have the strength to do a full roll up. It's nice to really feel that spinal articulation and the slow release of each line of your abdominals. Like imagine you're wearing a striped shirt, a horizontal striped shirt, and you take yourself down one inch stripe at a time, and then you want to try to lift 1 inch at a time from the ground. And this would be very hard to do without the band and really feel the spine bend and curve as you come up. So it gives you a different understanding of the spinal movement that's possible and a different way to connect into that abdominal wall. So you're not just leaning back from your hip flexors. Now let's rotate to the right. So you're going to pull your right elbow back, your left arm is forward, and now tuck and go down. So you're going down on the line of muscle to the right of your spine and just go down to the tip of the blade. And then pull yourself into more rotation as you come up, pressing down into that left hip and left heel. To anchor there, come all the way up and center, and then let's twist to the left, left elbow back, right arm is a little forward, rotate your body to the side wall, come all the way down again, 1 inch, 1 vertebra after the next, the tip of the shoulder blade, and then lift and pull. Now the right side is heavy as you're rotated to the left. So you want to really push down into your right heel and your right sits bone. And let's twist again to the right, going down here. The elbows are bent. They might go a little bit out to the side as you go down so that you have clearance as you lower your torso down. And now lift coming up, ear towards the ground. And then we lift, pull it up, try to keep thinking you're opening your chest to the side wall as your knees point forward to the wall in front of you. Now twist to the left again. Once more here. Go down on the left side, drape your body down and then press it into the ground. And then we lift to come up. Really focus on the bend and add a little extra twist. As you bend the spine more, you should have more rotation available to you. Try to find it, and then only when you're upright, unwind. Now we go down. This is called around the world. We're going down on the right side. Just to the tip of the shoulder blades, roll across in your upper curl to the left side. Pull the left elbow back and pull yourself up, keeping that twist. Come all the way up and then center, and now twist to the left. The arms are strong here. You're really working into the strap. So the feet push forward without opening the knees. Go down to the left side. Roll across the tip of the blades to the right. Twist here. Right, really work into the rotation, but push down through the opposite glute. Come all the way up to center, and we'll do one final set here, twisting to the right. Go down the muscles on the right side of your spine. Find the tip of the blade, roll across the mat. Spin your body here, pull up on the left side, twisting to the left. Unwind here at the top, shoulders relax, pull back to the left side, elbow out a little bit on the left. Work your body down, trying to feel how the left side goes down and the right side is still up. And then across the blades. Now it's the opposite. The right side is down, the left side is floating off the ground. Pull yourself up. Use your arms. Use the pressure of your feet into the band. Use your abs and come all the way up. Good. And now we'll release the band. Shake out your hands a little bit. Sure they could use it. And we'll go right into rolling like a ball here. So taking your hands to your shins, a little easier would be to take your hands to the thighs. Lift the legs. Tuck your chin into your chest, forehead towards the knees. Lift your tail to roll to your blades. Exhale to come back up to your balance point. So we rock back now. Hips high in the air as long as you can keep the neck and the head off the ground. You can imagine tucking like a little egg in right under your chin. If you didn't think to hard boil it, you would be very careful with how much you pressed in there. So there is a little space. So we roll back again, draw a straight line down the mat with your spine and a straight line back up it. One more. The arms are actively pushing back and the shins are actively pushing forward. Now for the abs series, right leg in, right hand at the ankle, left hand at the knee, push the left leg out, come again to that upper ab curl, and we inhale to switch the legs and switch again. The leg pulls in tight and then it reaches out long, directly out of the socket. You want to feel the work in the arms connect you into the work in the upper ab and the weight of your legs, making you stabilize through the low abdominals. One more. Left leg in, pull the right leg to meet it. And now stretch, arms and legs up to the ceiling and away from center. It's like a hammock. You circle the arms around and you fold the legs in, and then you reach again and circle and brace. Lengthen, like everything in. One more. And now for scissors, right leg up and left leg forward and down. And we switch and switch again. One leg lifts, the other lowers. And end with the left leg up. Bring both legs up, hands behind your head. And we stretch the legs forward and out. Reach them long. Exhale, pull the belly deep and lift the feet and pressing it out. And exhale to lift. You could always do this with your head down and a TheraBand around your feet. Would be a much easier variation. And sometimes you need an easier variation after a hot, so, no judgment, just do what's right for you. And then we twist to the right and then to the left. Coming up and around, a deep twist. So that work in the upper abdominals, pulling you forward, as well as giving you the rotation you're looking for. Opposite hip stays grounded. Let's do one more set. And then back to center, lay it down. And we're going to scooch back a little bit and do some more stretches for your legs. So let's take the band around your right foot. Lift the leg up to the ceiling. The elbows are grounded and forward by your hip. The left leg will stretch forward down the mat. If that feels like it's too intense for your back, you could have that knee bent. But now from here, first curl the toes down, lift up to the heel, go heel, ball, toe, and then toe, ball, heel. So the foot moves through. It's not just like a flat foot, point the foot, flex the foot at the ankle, but try to articulate through the whole foot. So reach out through the metatarsals, the balls of the feet, then curve your toes over the end of the band, pull the toes back while you're still reaching through the balls of the feet, and then come on back down with the toes to the shin. So we describe this sometimes in Pilates as a Barbie doll foot. Looks like you're about to put on a high-heeled shoe, and then the toes reach down and the whole foot is in point. And then we pull the toes back and then reach the heels up to get more stretch in the calf. One more. Articulating through the foot like this. And then releasing it back. Should be a lot of work through the foot, the ankle, and into the calf. Now soft point. And now here, let's lower the leg down, stretch it out, try to bring that leg past the other one, and exhale. You lift it still in the soft point, and bring the leg back enough that you feel a gentle stretch in the back of the leg without overdoing the stretch at the sits bone or at the back of the knee. So you push it away, because we don't want to mess with the hamstring attachments. We'd like to get the stretch in the belly of the hamstring. You could even bend the knee as you bring the leg up in order to really feel that stretch in the middle of the hamstring muscle. Press the leg away again, stretch it out of the socket, try to land it past where it was on the mat previously. It should be reaching further than the imprint of the other foot down on the mat. And here, try to keep the elbows grounded to help you hold your chest steady. One more, go out, reach down. And lengthen the leg and then bring it on up on the exhale. Great. Now from here, we'll switch your legs. The right one slides forward, the left one's up in the air. You want the band to be wide on the foot with the toes free. So now pull the toes down and then reach up to the ball of the foot and then point the toes, curl them over the end of the band, pull the toes back and then lift the heel. As you pull the balls of the feet, the metatarsals down towards you. Push up and then reach the toes out and away. Up, and then bring it back. So my band rolled up on me. I think I had it a little too tight. So let's do that again. So rolling through the foot and then rolling down with the toes, lifting up with the heel. Whenever the heel lifts up, you want to think of dropping weight into your sits bone. So you intensify the stretch you feel in the back line of your leg. Let's do one more of these. And then we lower this leg in a soft point all the way down as you inhale and exhale. Before you lift, bring it up as the belly's drawing deep. Get the stretch in the back line of your leg and then reach out and down. Draw the arc through the air and then retrace the arc in the air as you lift it. Let it rise. And again, forward and down. Stretch, lengthen, really press it away and exhale to lift here. Coming up. So two more. Again, imagine that heel landing past where it did previously. And one more time like that. To lift the leg up. And then let's switch legs again. So we'll be back on the right foot up in the air. Load the left leg forward and down. And first get the stretch, and now point, circle the leg across the body, bring the leg down low, out to the side, and up to the ceiling, and reach again. We're holding the hips steady on the mat, shifting the weight really in your mind, and then thinking of putting more pressure down with your body into the mat so the right side is heavy as the leg goes left, and then the left side gets heavy before the leg goes right, so that you work your core to stabilize your body here on the ground. Reach, circle low, out to the side, the leg does a rotation here on the joint, and now let's reverse. The leg externally rotates to reach out to the right and low, push the foot forward and down, internally rotate to draw it across, and then bring it back to neutral at the top. You externally rotate and you stretch out through the air here. Try to imagine your foot drawing a path through the air that goes further and further, spirals further and further away from the pelvis as you continue each separate rep. It's an inhale to begin your circle and an exhale to bring it out long around and then up to the ceiling. We pause here at the top and reverse. Inhale across the body and exhale, go low. Skim just over the other leg, drag it up, reach it wide, reach it high. The size of the circle is really determined by your ability to keep your hips grounded here. So we're going to stretch the outer thigh, and then when the leg goes to the right, we're going to stretch the inner thigh of the right leg. Let's do one more here. Coming all the way around and then up. And now we'll take both ends of the band in the right hand, rotate the leg externally, take the leg out to the side, left hip is down, and rock the leg a little bit towards your shoulder and away. And then pull the leg up to the ceiling, switch hands, so now the left hand holds the band, you extend the right arm, and you reach the leg out. You can lift your hip, waist, but not your shoulder. Go away from your foot, and then rotate that leg slightly internally to get more of a stretch where you might need it in the glute, maybe even in the calf. Probably definitely in the outer hip. Then we pull the hip down, use your obliques to lift the leg up high, and then fold that knee in tight to your chest, pull it in, and then reach it forward, stretch it out, shake it a bit. And here we go for the left. We'll take the leg up, bring it high here, elbows anchored, and we start the circle. Inhale across the body, exhale, go low, out to the side, drag it up through the air, and then push it across again. You reach low, and you circle. The leg rises, and you sweep again. Feel how you have to work your obliques in order to keep the pelvis grounded here. Press down through the opposite arm. So if you hold your body still as the leg reaches further and further out into space. Come up to the top, and now let's reverse. The leg goes out to the left, the right side is heavy, the right elbow pushes down. You go low across the body. Right side is now reaching into the floor as the leg would go to your left. Just breathe through it. The shorter the inhale is and the longer the exhale for every circle, the more your abdominal wall engages and works hard. That'll both keep you more stable on the ground, but also really just increase the strength here of the abdominal wall. And we complete the circle here up at the top. Take both ends of the band in the left hand, open the left leg out to the side, the right hand on the right hip, and rock the leg a little bit towards your shoulder and away. And then exhale to pick the leg up to the ceiling, switch hands. So now the right hand holds the band on the left foot, the left arm extends, you look out at the fingertip. You pull the leg across the room and rotate it internally. Breathe into the stretch and drop your body into the ground. Wherever it's touching the floor, make it heavy. Then we'll exhale to come across from the right hip to the left to lift the leg up to the ceiling. Pull it in a little tight And then fold that knee into your chest. Give it a hug, give it a tug, and then stretch it forward, lengthen it out. Shake your legs. The hips should feel much more open, more relaxed and released. And from here, we'll take the bend once more. Pull both knees in for tick-tock. So you lift your legs up to the ceiling. Your elbows are grounded again here. And what this is, it's sometimes called windshield wiper also. So you're just going to take the legs over to the side. Try to keep the feet parallel to each other. So when you bring the legs out like this, the left hip is lifting as the legs go to the right. And then you exhale and you slowly draw the feet back across the ceiling, putting weight into the left hip. And then as the legs go over to the left, the right hip rises. The shoulder girdle stays grounded. The right elbow is still into the ground. The right shoulder blade still into the mat. And exhale, pull the right hip down in order to lift the feet up to the ceiling again. Now let's go ahead and pick up that left hip bone and pull it across. Use your obliques to move the legs. Don't let the legs move the torso. Left shoulder is down, left arm is pushing into the floor. Exhale and start picking up the right hip to pull the left side down. And keep picking the right hip up and across the center of your body to bring the legs over to the left. See how much you can tilt the lower body, tip it without tipping the upper body. And now start picking up the left hip to roll across the glute, across the sacrum. Keep lifting the left hip to bring your feet over to the right. How far can you go and still keep your collarbones open and your left shoulder blade down? And then exhale, start picking up the right hip. Use the abdominals to move your legs. Where you put your focus is where you'll feel the work and where you actually get the work. Right shoulder down, opening the chest. Maybe getting a little work into your tricep. And exhale back to center. Good. We're going to take that into some circles, corkscrew. So we know that we've done the version where you have the hips grounded and you draw small circles in the air around from right to left and then from left to right. And you do get some work in the obliques, trying to hold the body steady against the movement of your legs. But now let's add a bigger version where you tip the pelvis and then circle the legs down and around, tip the pelvis again, drag the legs around, and then pull the right hip down to bring the legs up to the ceiling. So again, same thing that we did with the tick-tock. You're going to lift the right pelvic half up in the air to bring the legs to the left. And then start to, as you circle the legs, start to move across the hips, pick up the left pelvic half to bring the legs over and down to the right. And then sort of roll down from your right rib cage to the waist of the left hip to bring the leg back to center. And then we reverse again. So we pick up the left hip, the legs tip to the right, reach out into the straps, circling the legs, try to get the spiral going on through the low belly, coming around, and now lift up your left hip to bring the legs back to center. And now pick up the right hip, the legs move to the left. Circle the legs forward and down. Spiral the waist, work through your obliques to pick up the left hip, bring the legs around to the right, and come up to center again. So I hope you feel this. And if you really focus on moving the waistline and the pelvis to move the legs, you're going to get a nice massage in your back, but you're also going to get a lot of work in your core. Like the upper core has to really work to stabilize, and the lower core really has to work to mobilize and also to support the weight of your legs. So this is where we start to advance this exercise. And see how that's different from just like casually throwing the legs around and then letting the body rock and roll from that, right? That would not really be considered good Pilates technique. But feeling that work activate from the center of your body and using your abs to move your hips and your legs should be a challenge. It should also feel really good for you. Okay, beautiful. So let's take the band off and come forward and up to sitting. We're doing a little bit of a smorgasbord. I thought it might be fun to try some different things today, but we are going into saw here because we've been working lower body rotation. This will be a little bit more upper body rotation. So with the legs extended out, feet flexed, if possible, arms up and out at your side. We rotate to the right and dive, bringing the head out and along. Think of bringing your cheekbone maybe to the right knee and your left hand to the outside of the right foot. Pull yourself upright, center, and then twist to the left, reaching long, the arms stretch in long diagonals away from each other. Pull the body up, center here, twist, dive, and reach out long. Anchoring through the opposite glute every time you twist, so you get a deeper stretch in your back. Also might even help you feel a little bit more inner thigh stretch if you're tight there. Coming up to center, and we do that again. Pull yourself up, center here, and twist and reach, dive over long. Lift to come up, center, and we go for one more time. Reach here, stretch it on out. Pull your body up, center last time to the left. Look up and behind you, try to look for your back hand. Vertical, unwind, and lower the arms down. I'd like to do a shoulder bridge here, where you can take your feet up on a wall or maybe up onto a piece of furniture. It depends what you have. I'm going to actually just quickly move this little stool out of the way and go to a piece of wall here. So you're going to be, let's see, I think I can move this maybe and you'll see it a little bit better. Slightly like so. Feet will be up on the wall. And you lay down onto your back. Okay, so if you have trouble with your knees or if your hamstrings tend to cramp, when you do a bridge, you may want to take a ball or a yoga block or a folded cushion or rolled a towel or something between your thighs. Otherwise, just have your feet on the wall, firmly plant them, and the arms lengthen at your side. We begin, just as always, in a bridge with the pelvic tuck. You pull the knees up, you lift your hips, you'll come up higher than you normally do. So the advantage to this is we get to traction the spine more and really find more of a release in the spine as we roll down. So on the way down, roll slightly to the inner arm. So there's a little more weight in the thumb side of your hand. And then drape your body down, starting with the upper vertebra, working down through the ribs one by one, down to the waist. Keep the tail lifted. Then you roll across the low back, the hollow of the back into the sacrum, and then all the way into the tail, and you let your waist roll up. And we do that again. So beginning with the pelvic tuck, you'll feel your waist sink into the ground, push into your feet, push into your arms as you come up. It is a little tricky, right? If you're on like a slippery mat or you have clothes that are a little slick, you may end up, if you push too hard with your feet, you'll push yourself away from the wall. So you want to have enough push into your feet to be connected and to support the weight of your body there, but you don't want so much that you're moving yourself away from the wall, because then you end up with straight legs and you don't really get the mobilization through your spine. It's also possible you could take like a yoga mat under your shoulders, and that would prevent you from moving if that was happening. So we lift up, 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 press the arms down. Here, you're looking up and back slightly with the eyes, and then work your spine down. Try to still feel connected. Your glutes are working to lift you up, even as the upper part of your back tries to bring you down. So you really feel that lengthening. And at the very end, pull your tail forward towards the wall as you rock the pelvis into a neutral spine position. We'll do one more like that and maybe do a little kick. So press into the wall, begin with the pelvic tuck. Start lifting the pelvis up. Your spine flows and follows. Then pull your right knee into your chest, extend the right leg up to the ceiling, point the foot to the wall, flex and bring the foot over your head. Point to reach, flex and lift it, point, stretch, flex up, one more. And then bend the knee, replace the foot in the wall, stand into that foot, lift your hips, pick up the left leg, extend the foot, point to go forward, flex to lift up and back. Point, reach, flex and kick it. Now you're on the shoulders, you're not really on your neck, right? Your neck is floating off the ground. The back of the skull, of course, helps support you. Now fold the knee, lower the foot, hips elevate, and then work your spine down. Try to widen your back and narrow the front as you roll to the ground. Releasing your spine, come all the way down, and then settle the body down, the tail sinks. Good, so hopefully that felt really good. It's a nice option. You get a little more traction in your back by having the legs more elevated. Okay, and then we're going back to the mat. Let me set you up again. All right, and then let's do the intermediate level mermaid, the side bend. So we'll be sitting here on your hips. I have my feet out to my left and my right hand supports me. So if you do that, you will be a little opposite. So the hand by the shin, we're going to lift that up. Look at the hand and then scoop the air. Start to let the head fall. Slide the hand out along the ground so you rest on your elbow. Your chest, your head are parallel to the wall in front of you. And as you push down with your elbow and forearm, try to really lift your waist and your ribs. Then let's bring the arm up, press lightly into the hand, come upright, and then we side bend to the other direction. So you hold on to your shin, you drop your ear towards your shoulder, you open the other side, the arm draws a curved arc in the air over your body at the same time as you're pushing down through the hip on the open side. Right, so feel how one side knits together and the other side does, and lift to come up. And then we bring the hand down to skate out along the ground. Dive the head down to the floor, open the ribs here. Take a moment to breathe into that stretch and then press down to come up, arms out, hand to the leg and dive over, opening it here. Pull up, you pull up from the hip, the waist, the ribs, you close the ribs, the armpit lowers, head floats up, and let's do one more. Slide on out. First, find your nice side bend. Then we'll lift the arm up to the ceiling, look at the hand, and bring the arm back behind you. Scoop the arm forward underneath you, stretch that out, and then pull the arm out and back and open the chest. So we're adding rotation to this shape. You thread the needle through the arm, you reach it back, you reach long, and one more time here. Opening the chest as you reach back, bring the arm up to the ceiling, overhead into that side bend, pull yourself up, and then side bend over, head falls, open the sideline, come upright to lower the arms, and we swing on to the other side. Okay, good. And now here we go. So we'll take the arm up and side bend first towards your shins. Legs stacked as much as you can. It's actually easier if the knees are more open, if more of a wider base to move from, or difficult to have the legs more stacked. Come on up, and then the hand goes down. You go out onto the elbow. You dive over here. You stretch yourself in that arc, in that curve. Push the ground down and pull yourself up from this upper side. And we dive over again, pressing down through that lowered hip. This position is great because you really get to feel the stretch from your rib cage down and not only from the rib cage up, which happens a lot in many side bends. So we're going over again here. It's because the pelvis is sort of on a tilt that you feel the stretch in that hip area. Lift to come up. Move through it, flowing through it. Coming up, the arm lowers. Take it out, side bend here. Still the chest is to the ground. There'll be a tendency to rotate to try to get more length in the side bend stretch, but you really want to feel that you're parallel to the wall in order to feel the maximum stretch here on your side. Now we lift the arm up to the ceiling and even bring it back a little bit. You follow your fingertips with your gaze, and then you bring the arm around in a big scoop. You scoop it underneath you. This will make you feel the stretch between your shoulder blades. Pull the arm out, and the space between the blades knits together as you open the chest and look back. And we'll flow through this. The arms circle, embrace, bring it under you, pull them open, out and back, reach behind you. And one more like this. Take it back to open the chest here. Bring the arm up, side bend over. Coming up, hand to the shin and side bend over like so. Good. Coming back up, we're going into cat-cow. It's sort of a gyrokinesis movement here to give you more stretch in your back with this. So you're on your hands and knees in quadruped. If this is tough for your wrist, you could always like roll a towel and place it like under the heel of your hand to elevate your heel. It'd be less intense onto your wrist. But if you're okay, you can just press your hands flat into your mat or into the floor. So now we're going to lift the waist and curl the tail towards the head and the head towards the tail. So this is what I call the Halloween cat position. So you think of that black cat silhouetted against the full moon. That's how you look. Now from here, you keep the same spinal position, but you pull your butt back towards your heels to let the stretch travel up your back. And then we're going to rock forward onto your knees. And now we arch the back, lifting the chest and lifting the tail so the belly falls towards the ground. Even bend your elbows a little bit and try to pull the mat between the heel of your hands and your knees. So the knees push forward and the heel of the hand pulls back. And that way you can lift the tail up, spread and lift your sits bones, lift your eyes and lift the chest. Now push the ground down and push the mat away from you as you drop your head. And we're going to take that flex spine back and then bring it forward. Now we're going to arch again, look up the wall, lift your chest through your arms, pull the shoulder blades back and down. And let's go back with your hips in this extension position. In yoga, this is cow. And then we're rocking forward. Push the ground down, round the back, lift your waistline up to the ceiling, rock back here with your butt towards your heels. Only if this feels good in your knees, right? And then arch. Rocking back. And then forward. We'll do one more set here. Round your waist. Stretch out that area by your sacrum in particular. Go back. Come forward. Arch. Look up, lift your tail high, and bring it back. As you go back, the sits bones widen more, the pelvic dominant opens, you come back. And then here, let's just take your right arm under your left, lay onto your shoulder and your right ear. It can stay in the air. Unwind it, come back up to your hands, and then let the left arm slide under, go down onto your right shoulder, right ear to the mat. Unwind, come up. You can do more of those if you want, but I have to go. So that's the end of our class for today. Thank you for trying some different things. Next week, we'll probably go right back to the traditional sequence.